Nice. Okay. Pleasant good evening, guys. As usual, we here discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. Yours truly, Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director of Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. Keep in mind, today's live is, of course, a question and answer. We will be discussing some pertinent information. Today, we're actually going to be discussing issues associated with mental health, things like depression, anxiety. We're going to touch a bit on PMS. Simply because we have so many women who have issues with postmenopausal syndrome, and a lot of them don't know what to do. You have all these hot flashes, you have in some cases, you have women who are actually going through menopause, and their menopause is not an easy transition. They have a lot of problems, a lot of headaches, a lot of hot flashes, vaginal dryness. They have issues associated with uh, elevated blood pressure all of a sudden. Then they have issues associated with very low blood sugar, or in some cases, very high blood sugar. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss menopause, hormonal imbalance. Let me say a pleasant good evening to Annabella B. She mentioned forgetfulness, tiredness. A pleasant good evening to Vidya Abdul as well. She says good evening all. Vidya Abdul is in the house. Keep in mind, we are live on our social media platforms. We're actually live on 3 of our platforms. We are live on Facebook, which is Batson and Associates Limited. Instagram is Batson and Associates TT, and YouTube is Batson and Associates Trinidad. So keep in mind that we are live on those platforms. You're listening to the Senior Medical Director of Batson and Associates, which is an organization of trained professionals where we deal with integrative medicine. Annabella Bay, as usual, always puts in Nikisha Kelshaw. I remember, some really good clients we have. Keep in mind for Tobago office, we will be dealing with Tobago in a more regular manner now. So as a result of that, it means that I am going to be in Tobago a little more often. But most importantly, the consultants would be there, because the consultants are the one who do the work in terms of putting everything together. If you would still require a overview or a consultation from myself, but they are the ones that put everything in place. So, I keep reminding clients, to take advantage of those open clinic days, not only days when I'm available, because obviously I would not be in all the clinics. That's impossible, right? I can't be in multiple places at one point in time. Right? So, trust the process, allow the process to work. Keep in mind, Tobago, as I said, we will be up there at the end of the month. We also have a consultant who will be going up. Those of you in Tobago could also check us out live on Channel 5. We usually have a program every Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7:15. And we also have some additional information that I'll pass on to you guys. Let me say again, a pleasant good evening to Miss Cindy Hoyt. She says, good afternoon, Doc and team. Happy, healthy Sunday. Miss Cathy Samaru, good night to you. Keep in mind, as I said, we are live on our Instagram. We are Batson and Associates TT. We have Miss Susie. She says, anytime coming to New York. I have some work to do very soon as regards to New York and various parts of the US. But of course, I need to dot my I's and cross my T's and know exactly what I can do and what I cannot do as regards to certain things. Because the thing is, what you have to understand with Batson and Associates, as I said, is a trained organization of consultants where we work to really help persons to get better based on what they eat and what they put into their body. And I mean, nothing is wrong with that in the sense of helping persons to really be educated and understand the importance of what you should put in your body and what you shouldn't put in your body. And of course, most importantly, helping you to understand that if you are in fact sick, or you in fact have an imbalance in your body which causes sickness, then that it means that you really need to focus on that. Miss Elizabeth Nandas, he says, hi, Doc, happy Father's Day. Thank you so very much. Just to let you know, I'm improving slowly with the knee injury. Good. Well, I hope you were able to get some of those things that I recommended for you and the way I recommended for you to use it. At least to start, remember things like your sea moss, your gelatin, which helps with that cartilage and that type of thing. The inflammation formula, very popular product at Batson and Associates. I know that's a product that goes very quickly. I know we actually restocking that product this week. Someone asked about Santulan. Santulan, unfortunately, not as yet, but we we got some good news. It's actually here. It's just a matter of clearance now. Okay, so the thing is, you will in fact have your Santulan very shortly. Just bear with us. I know you guys are really upset with us, but as I said, it's not entirely it's not our fault. In fact, we are just working out certain things, which comes with the territory of the work that we do. So it's a matter of bettering and putting certain things in place, and you will in fact have your Santulan shortly. We're discussing mental health to an extent, in the sense that we are discussing issues associated with depression and anxiety. Yes, we do have Nerve Restore, Miss Samaru. We have Nerve Restore. Those of you who used to use the bilberry formula that we actually have an improved product for that, which is known as anthocyanin complex. We have gotten that back in stock. We also have our enzyme formula, very, very good product. We normally use that with persons in the United States. We had a lot of persons who have issues with things like fibroids, polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, endometriosis. Susie's asking where our products manufactured. The thing is, we manufacture primarily in the United States, in some cases, United Kingdom. And as regards to the United States, Susie, very soon you will have our products available in the United States. That is actually something that we're working on assiduously. And one of the things that we have put in place is that because of the companies that I work with, because I'm affiliated with other nutrition companies, not only the companies that do product for us, but because this is how I would work. Not because I do not have a product that you may need, I would not necessarily mean that I wouldn't source it and get it to you or for you or recommend a company to buy it from. Right? So the thing is, there are a number of different products that it have out there. I definitely, and my company going forward, would not be able to produce everything. I could assure you of that. And there is always have really, really great products out there, people, really excellent products. And I just putting together a community, as it will, where you'd be able to now access and know what is what. And based on the recommendation, I may recommend something to you and let you know, okay, this is for you and this is safe. I work with a lot of companies who would use things like good manufacturing practices. They would use things where their product is kosher, their product is organic, and they actually have like third-party individuals who will check out their premises and that type of thing. So you have some really good supplements out there. You have some really good companies. The thing is, you just need to know who provides what. And that's one of the things that we do at Batson and Associates. So Miss Susie, Susie Q, 0221. Yes, we do ship to the United States. You could always reach out to us because we do international consultations. I know someone was asking about coming to New York and you all need to get certain things in New York and that type of thing. And we understand that there are people all over the world that need help. But keep in mind that you could actually avail yourself of the various platforms that we have for our consultations. And of course, we're going to be bettering those and improving those significantly as time goes by. Okay, you're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. Keep in mind those telephone numbers and locations. Shogunas, that office is located on the first floor of Money Talks Building. That is Money Talks Building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number for Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsamud Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. And St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8115. Again, 220-8113. And Tobago, keep in mind we are in Tobago, and we continue to do your consultation. So just call that number for Tobago. That number again, 226-4553. Latoya, is we always have someone in the office. That number again for Tobago is 226-4553, as well as 312-4248. Again, that's 312-4248. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. Maureen says, Dr. Batson, I have 2 packets of Santulan. Is about 1 to 2 years old. Is it still usable? Once it is, you are storing that product in a cool place, that product is going to be good still. I have had Santulan, and this is no joke. I know of persons, and I personally have kept Santulan for in excess of 5 years, and it worked. It's a very good product. In terms of the efficacy and potency, it lasts quite long. But of course, within the law, you have to put expiry dates within a certain period of time. But a lot of those products, sometimes beyond that period of time. In this particular case, as I said, with the Santulan, it can be used. Okay. Ms. Susie, do you have a website where I can view the suite of products? Yes, we do. That of course, currently we are in the process of updating, because we're doing all our payment portals and that kind of thing. And that is to facilitate our regional as well as the international clients. So as soon as we have that to the full capacity, Ms. Susie, we will let you know, and we will go from there. Okay, guys. We are discussing PMS, post-menopause. We are discussing menopause. We are discussing mental health as it relates to women. Even though today is Father's Day, let me say a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and those of you mothers who play father's role. Okay, so I hope you had a great Sunday. I hope someone cooked for you and called you and gave you some sort of appreciation as regards to that. We need you guys as usual. Those of you who have brothers, sons, uncles, and there's some major male in your life that is playing some significant role. So happy Father's Day to all of you. Remember, keep safe and always put your health first. Good. So someone asked about Nerve Restore, Miss Cathy Samaru. So what is Nerve Restore? Nerve Restore is a product that we carry at Batson and Associates that was primarily designed to specifically help individuals with mental health challenges and sleep deprivation. One of the things I spoke about recently was actually sleep deprivation, where a lot of persons are actually sleep deprived. Now, people might say, how could I be sleep deprived, if I'm sleeping on a daily basis? So every day you sleep, you might sleep 2 hours, you might sleep 4 hours, you might sleep 10 hours. But you are sleep deprived because the quality of sleep that you're getting is questionable. And that is where sleep deprivation comes in. Thank you so very much, Miss Wendy Andrew, for that greeting. So because of being sleep deprived and not having those neurotransmitters being replenished as they're supposed to, your mental health and your central nervous system begins to give problems. So that is why you have a lot of persons who are, in particular instances, they're going to have problems. So they have issues with pins and needles, cramping their calves, burning on their feet. They have feelings or issues with trembling. They have issues associated with insomnia, so they cannot sleep, or they can sleep, but they do not remain asleep. You may have problems with anxiety, where you get panic attacks. You also have an issue where you could have issues associated with depression, where you just feel to isolate yourself. You want to be in a room, you don't want to bathe, you don't want to go anywhere, you don't want to speak to anyone. Okay, Ms. Mackenzie asks, hi, Dr. Batson, do you go over all your clients' paperwork after they see the consultants? To some extent, yes, I do. In the sense that I would get reports at the end of the week, I'd get reports at the end of the month, and I would be able to look at the summary, especially of the notes that all the consultants would prepare. So we operate like any proper medical facility as regards to notes. All consultants are trained in the ability to write notes. Persons who do feedbacks are able to write notes. The doctors, the medical doctors that we work with in association are able, of course, to write notes, read notes, as well as myself. So the thing is, all the paperwork that is presented, the summary of the notes would be what is reviewed. So in some cases, I would say I review a lot, not necessarily all, because all may not necessarily need to be reviewed. Okay, if a request is made for my review, then the review is done. But as I said, those things would normally cross my desk. Because, for example, you have clients who come to us and their first visit they may not see me, their second visit they may not see me, sorry, but they may see me the third visit. They may deal with the consultant the first visit, but they review, or they what is known as your revisit, which is usually 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, depending what your situation is. Then you may see me for that second time. Okay, so it is a properly run organization as regards to our consultants, and those 4 individuals are very skilled and talented in what they do, very well trained as well. So you can feel free to give us a call or visit. You can check all those products. Someone asked about the nerve restore. Someone asked about, we got back, as I said, the anthocyanin complex. That product is specifically designed for eyes, because as an alternative diabetes clinic, we deal a lot with clients as relates to their eyes and their eyesight, because a lot of persons we know with diabetes causes serious problems with lost eyesight. So that is something to also pay very close attention to. Keep in mind, it is a question and answer, so it is a live session. So those of you who are listening, keep in mind the question doesn't necessarily have to be about the particular health topic, but it can also be about any health issue or any of the products and services available at Batson and Associates. Keep in mind, our Tobago office is up and running. That office is located at the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226, that's 226-4553, as well as 312-4248. Again, that's 312-4248. And of course, Tobago would actually be getting another symposium, and that symposium, we would most likely be doing that symposium, God's willing, at the end of July. There was one that we did at the end of May. Well, it was actually the first day in June. That was it was actually the last day in May, which was the Friday. When we had the holiday, we actually had the symposium for Tobago. And that symposium was very well attended. I mean, we had 16 persons in total. How we did it, we are actually able to take 16 people could hold, but we had a morning session and an evening session, and we actually had 8 in the morning, 8 in the evening. And for a very short notice advertisement, we only advertised that like 2 weeks, and persons with their busy schedule were still able to come and attend that symposium. So Tobago, keep in mind, Annabella Bay, that is something you'd want to also keep in mind for all your friends and acquaintances who you have so nicely referred to Batson and Associates, and gotten the results that they would have gotten. So take advantage of that telephone number again for the Tobago office. You can give us a call or visit us at the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That telephone number again is 226, that's 226-4553. And she mentions Miss Trisha C. Wilshire rather. And that telephone number again is 312-4248. 312-4248. That's for the Tobago office, as well as 226-4553. Again, that's 226-4553. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. We are discussing post-menopause, hormonal imbalance in women. Someone actually asked the question about polycystic ovarian syndrome. If we treat that, we do treat polycystic ovaries, and we do treat it quite successfully without birth control. I often tell women, sometimes birth control used for polycystic ovary tends to try to actually abuse the ovaries and actually try to pong your ovaries into submission. That's not a good idea. Simply because of all the emotional upheaval and the hormonal imbalance, situation does not go, and it could actually reach to the point where you actually end up with things like not only polycystic ovaries, but ovarian cysts, endometriosis. A lot of women do not know that you have different types of cysts. You can actually get Nabotian cysts. You could actually have follicular cysts, depending on your situation and issues with menstruation. You could actually have serious problems associated with hormonal imbalance. What is hormonal imbalance? Hormonal imbalance, or you would hear they're talking about estrogen imbalance, because estrogen plays a significant role in women's health and women's menstrual cycle. If you have estrogen dominant, or you have high levels of estrogen, which most women have because of their food choices, sedentary lifestyle, meaning they do not exercise as you would like them to exercise, you usually find that they're in a situation where they can have hormonal imbalance. And because of this hormonal imbalance, you are now diagnosed with either polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome. We do treat that quite successfully at Batson and Associates, so you can feel free to give us a call or visit. And you could also check out our product that we carry called Women's Formula. Very successful product. We have been using that product for in excess of 12, 13 years. And what that product actually does is it actually regulates your endocrine system. What is your endocrine system? Your endocrine system is your glands. So that has to do with thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary, adrenal. So what it actually does is help to balance the endocrine system. And in balancing the endocrine system, it now helps to balance the hormones. In balancing the hormones, you're going to eventually get rid of the polycystic ovaries, the fibroids, the ovarian cysts, the endometriosis. You must change and make correction in the basic or the root cause of the body in order to see detailed and long-term change. Miss Elizabeth Nandlal has a question. I will go to the question shortly. Let me just give you the number for our international clients, because someone asked if you are from overseas and you want a consultation, you can, of course, call 1-868, that's 1-868-373-2388. You could also send a WhatsApp. You can send a WhatsApp to 868-314-9975. Again, that's 868-314-9975. Miss Elizabeth Nandlal asked the question, Doc, today I learned about a close friend in her 50s whose kidneys are no longer functioning, or his, 50s, and whose kidneys are no longer functioning, and he has high blood pressure and diabetes. I know you always say that the kidneys are the most unforgiving organ. Can you help? If you say the kidneys is no longer functioning in the sense that the person is on dialysis or he is on medication for poor kidney health, clarify for me. If you could do that, I'll be able to answer more appropriately. Okay, good. Keep in mind, we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. We are live on all of those platforms. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. We are discussing health. We are discussing hormonal imbalance. We are discussing post-menopause. You know, all you women out there who are having this issue, you may have gone through menopause. And let me tell you something. You could have gone really far or far along your menopause. So, okay, let me explain. So let's say you're a female and you went through menopause at the age of 50, but you're now 70 and you're having problems with anxiety, depression, sleeping problems, high blood pressure. Do you know that that is post-menopause? Those are post-menopausal symptoms. Let me say a pleasant good evening to Miss Jennifer Valentine, our great client out of Texas. She says, good evening, Dr. Batson, and to all loved ones. So a pleasant good evening. It's so lovely to have you. Good. So I was saying, because of that weakness, you have a lot of weakness in your legs. You have issues with depression. You have issues with anxiety. You have issues with problems sleeping. And let me tell you something. When you have these challenges, you have to deal with it from the root cause of the problem. Because ladies with post-menopause, women going through menopause, women going through issues with anxiety, depression, post-menopause symptomology, hormonal upheaval, vaginal dryness, irritability. Listen to me. if you do not deal with that from the root cause of the problem, the only thing the doctor going to do is give you sleeping tablets and medication for antidepressant medication. And believe me, you don't want to go that way. You are not dealing with the root cause of the problem. And what you're doing now is actually changing your brain chemistry, and that could lead to later problems. You have to deal with the root cause of the problem. Ms. McKenzie asking, is castor oil good to intake? I wouldn't recommend every and anybody to drink castor oil. It does have its uses, but it has to be serious, or people who I would recommend for them to intake that, they would fall in a particular category, right? The topical application, I am a huge advocate of, in terms of actually applying the castor oil to your skin, places like the palm of your hands, on your feet, your navel. Men putting it close to your prostate, especially if you're experiencing any issues with your prostate. Women is very good for under the breast as well, and the breast under the arm, sorry, to help with actually cleaning out the lymphatics and that type of thing. So it is a good oil. The intake, however, I do not necessarily recommend unless you're dealing with serious issues, and those issues would have to be issues where you actually have where we have to give you a treatment protocol in order for that to be done properly. Okay, I would not recommend every and anybody to drink castor oil. Okay, it has to be specifics that we're dealing with, and it would have to be accompanied by other things. You see, one of the good things about integrative medicine, I always tell persons, is that you actually have the ability to help persons. We can really help persons in all aspects of health. I always tell persons, regardless of the disease and the ailment, like I heard somebody recently was told that they got cancer, and the cancer is an aggressive cancer, and there is nothing that they could do. But what really is cancer? What are you eating? What has that person been eating for all the years? And that continues to be the missing link, that people don't look at those things. You must be diagnosed with some sort of rare something if you're not taking care of yourself. If you're under a lot of stress, you maybe have poor eating choices. Sometimes in some cases, no fault of your own, maybe the economics, or maybe you just didn't know. But the thing is, cancer does not come just like that. It cannot come just like that. There has to be contributory factors to that. Let me say a pleasant good evening to Miss Kathleen Ishmael. She says, always a beautiful blessing. She says, happy Father's Day to you, my dear doctor. Thank you so very much. May Almighty God bless and keep you as the apple of his eye. Amen. Thank you so very much for that. Yeah. So you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of the health situation that you have bad arthritis, but let me tell you what people need to understand and what people need to appreciate. There is no shortcut in getting better. There is not a shortcut. If you want a shortcut, Batson and Associates is not the place for you. And I could humbly tell you that. And I could humbly respect your opinion of not coming after understanding that. I have no problem with that. But you have to understand that you cannot continually do the same thing over and over. Continue making bad decisions as regards to what you eat, not drinking water, drinking a lot of coffee, putting things in your diet that is not supposed to be there, using excessive amounts of medication, which may be recommended by the doctor, or you just decide to self-medicate yourself. But the point is, you're not dealing with the root cause of the problem. And as a result of that, you are not able to get the results that you're looking for. So regardless of the health issue that you're dealing with, I don't care what it is. People often, someone told me recently, I dealt with somebody quite successfully with lupus. And they actually had, some other issues. The doctors had diagnosed them as having what they call it, boy, and high inflammatory disease. So the disease is one where the inflammation is very high. Now, when you have high inflammation in the body, you are going to get sick. Inflammation in the body under normal circumstances is welcome. So inflammation is a regular aspect of the body. But when you have excessive inflammation, it creates an environment that is conducive to disease, including cancer. So anybody who's diagnosed with cancer have high levels of inflammation in the body, excessive amounts. That's why you got cancer in the first place. They also have serious gastrointestinal problems. So that individual needs to have a protocol, and we do diets and dietetics for anybody. Diets for kidney patients, for persons who have diabetes, regardless of the issues, prostate problems, because with those particular challenges, there are certain foods that would make sense and certain foods that would not make sense, obviously. Miss Jess Kennedy says, I'm going through perimenopause right now, and this thing is crazy. I'm having bad anxiety, panic attacks. Sometimes I'm lost. Oh, don't talk about the hot flashes. I have 3 fans and an air conditioning unit in my bedroom. And trust me, I feel the heat still. No, you need to take care of that, darling. You'll go mad. That's what will happen to you. Madness will take you. And that is not me attempting to be facetious or condescending in any manner, but simply stating a fact. That woman with this, and that is why I always talk about perimenopause. Ladies, if you do not take care of yourself, you're going to end up in problems. Because in that situation you're in there, if you are married or you have a male companion, we're going to go on with them. And I'm not saying that to be selfish, but I'm just saying that to be practical, where at the end of the day, you're going to have to put things in place to take care of yourself, because you're going to be irritable, you're going to be bawling at your husband all the time. And the thing is, most men don't understand menopause enough, regardless of whether it's peri, post, in between. They don't understand it. So that is why I try to do these programs and help men to understand that these women are in situations where they are very frustrated, but mentally, psychologically, the nerves is what is causing the problems. And as a result of that, your nerves are shot. And when your central nervous system starts to malfunction, you are 2 points to madness. They are going to diagnose you with something, either bipolar, schizophrenia, manic depression, and you're going to get medication. Do you want that? Okay, no problem. Or do you want to deal with the root cause of your problem? What she said? I am dragging you to the symposium and also for a consultation. Okay, Annabelle. Oh, that's just. Oh, I am widowed 5 years now. Okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. But Gil, let me tell you something. We could fix that. I know you're suffering. I know I have dealt with women with perimenopause. In fact, one of the things we do, we're going to actually open a integrative menopause clinic, because I see the need to do so, because whenever I see women who going through this, it is not a nice thing. These women, you ever see somebody fall down in front of you? Like literally just, it's just like they lose all the strength in their legs and they just fell down. I've seen that happen to persons. I've seen women come into my office accompanied by their family for a consultation, and they have not cried. They have not stopped crying. They came in the consultation crying. They did the blood analysis crying. We finished, they left there crying. That's madness. That is madness. And the reason for that, ladies, a pleasant good evening to Miss Jacqueline Tyson. So nice to see you. And the reason this woman came crying, the lady left crying, you know. And I'm talking about crying like if somebody, and again, not attempting to be facetious, just stating facts here. This woman was crying like if somebody now tell her mother died or one of her children. That's to tell you how bad it was. Hormonal imbalance and issues associated with menopause is not a joke. And let me tell you something, woman, the perimenopause is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And you have to deal with it, because let me tell you something, you have to fix your nerves. Women who do not deal with this, you end up mad. I am not asking you, and I'm not saying mad. Let me not use the word mad. Let me use a better word, because I know better. So let me use the word, you end up with a serious mental situation, and they are going to give you a diagnosis. You're either going to be diagnosed as bipolar, schizophrenic, manic depression, or depression. What they're going to give you is medication they're going to get to give you. Does that fix the problem? Did that fix all the nutritional imbalances that you have in your body? Did that fix the issue with your stomach? Because the thing is, most postmenopausal women have serious gastrointestinal challenges, like most people who are very sick. So unless you address your gastrointestinal health, unless you address your central nervous system function, unless you address your endocrine system, unless you address the hormonal imbalance in the body, you cannot get better. You cannot get better. You're spinning top in mud. So feel free to give us a call or visit. Keep in mind those telephone numbers and locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Mood Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number. Keep in mind, I have an open clinic day for Debe for Saturday, the 29th of June. So Saturday, 29th of June, Dr. Batson has an open clinic day in Debe. So you can take advantage of that. Mrs. Elizabeth Nandlel says, so true about menopause. A girlfriend of mine is forever crying. I tell you, these women, you have no control over your mental faculties when your menopause is atrocious. I am not asking you, I am telling you. And take it from somebody who has, some people might consider 14 years not a lot, but I consider 14 years a lot for the amount of people that I have dealt with and the amount of research that I was able to do, even studies in terms of cross-referencing information and that type of thing. Because the thing is, when you work with a large demographic, you experience a little on the better side, right? So ladies, gentlemen listening, if you have a wife, if you have a mother, if you have a sister that have this problem, get help for them, because it could reach that point where these women could take their lives. It is so serious. Ladies, do not take this perimenopause for joke. You want help and you want serious help. And ask anybody who come to Dr. Batson and Associates, sorry. We are about results. And you cannot be coming to my clinic or our clinic for 3 months and you come and tell me you ain't getting better. No, 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 no. That can't happen. Never. Once it is a following instruction. But what I'll tell you, women who have nervous problems and people who suffer with their nerves understand that it takes a while to get better, but you will get better. You give yourself a good 6 months, and I tell you, you will be a completely new and rejuvenated person. So please, ladies, if you know, because there are a lot of women, I'm not talking to myself here, there are a lot of women out here who are suffering from this. You know, somebody who have depression, have anxiety, there are ways and means to deal with that. The question is, when you have these diseases and these imbalances, what is your body telling you? So when you're depressed, when you're suffering from depression, what it is your body telling you? Let me help you out. What your body is telling you, listen to me. I am nutritionally deficient. So you may have some deficiency in B vitamins. So a lot of people run and take a B12 injection. Okay, will that help? In some instances, it may help. However, if you have an assimilation problem, which most people have, most people do not digest or break down their food properly. So as a result of not being able to break down and digest your food properly, what you have a problem with malabsorption. So you have a bigger problem than you thought. So as I was speaking, as it relates to menopause and perimenopause, why are you suffering? Why do you have sleep problems? I remember telling somebody recently, people come to us for sleeping problems, and we do have an integrative sleep clinic. You bring anybody for me who can't sleep. Bring them. Now, if they were heavily medicated, you have to give us some time to work with them because we need to take all that rubbish out of you. And when I say rubbish out of you, take all, because those things build up and build up in your kidneys and your liver and can cause a lot of problems in the body. So we need to get the body cleaned up, get the digestive system functioning properly. And in doing that now, the central nervous system is now going to start to function properly. Because your nerves or your central nervous system is one of the hardest, it is not impossible, but it is one of the hardest systems to correct in the body. It requires work, it requires proper rest, it also requires proper nutrition. And that is where Batson and Associates comes in. So again, pay attention to that. You know, you have the experiences. And the thing is, perimenopause could actually give you a hypertension problem. You could actually diagnose with high blood pressure as a result of having or going through perimenopause. So what you have is not hypertension. What you have is secondary hypertension, which is caused by hormonal imbalance, because you have primary and secondary hypertension, just like you have primary and secondary any of disease or issues that you go. Okay, Miss Mackenzie saying, do you have anything that young women can take before they reach menopause stages? If you can, no. If can, we know, please. Of course. Now, people talk about evening primrose, right? And evening primrose is actually a very good thing to use before your menopause so that menopause doesn't come and hit you like a ton of bricks. However, the Nerve Restore is one. Women's Formula. Women's Formula is a product, as I said, we have been using that for 14 years. And we have had some people who got really great results with that product because what it does, it starts to deal with the endocrine system. Ms. Mackenzie, water, the importance of proper water, the Alkagen water, which we carry, which is a premium alkaline water. That water has the ability to do a number of things in addressing even hormonal imbalance in the body. Then, of course, you have to look at your various greens. There's a product we carry at Batson Associates, which is actually an omega, but it has astaxanthin in it. So that omega, which has a major astaxanthin, it actually helps significantly in improving your entire central nervous system. Okay. The evening primrose, Annabella Bay is asking, what does evening primrose do? Evening primrose, because of its properties, actually helps with hormonal balance. It actually helps the central nervous system. It's a product that has been recommended for women for years. Of course, I'm very brand specific as regards to what I recommend and what I use, simply because of its ability to rectify certain things in the body. Okay, so it does help in rectifying hormones, and it does play some significant roles in other things in the body. As I said, we carry a product called Women's Formula. Nerve Restore is definitely a product I would recommend. Some of the greatest success stories that I have had with women who had postmenopause and serious mental health and anxiety, depression, panic attacks issues, Nerve Restore was one of the things that helped them. Yeah, and that's what I said. So Miss Kennedy says she's using evening primrose, but you see, the thing is, evening primrose can't do it alone, and that is what people have to understand. When you're dealing with the central nervous system, your supplement regime, your recommendation is going to be a lot because you are dealing with a body that is deficient. People don't understand the level of deficiency that people suffer out there. And again, I'm not saying this to be condescending or facetious in any way. But a lot of persons do not understand, plain talk bad manners, the mess that they are in. And I say that in a nice way because I am a professional in what I do. I'm a professional in this. So you cannot come to me and then when I'm giving you recommendations, you tell me that you're taking too much of things. Okay, good. We might have to space it out or something like that. But I would not, or we would not give you anything that you do not need. You do not need. When you suffer from depression and anxiety, you have serious neurological imbalances. You have serious mineral deficiencies in your body. You have serious gastrointestinal imbalance in your body. You don't get sick just so. You know it is to be lie down in a house and you feel like you're going mad. You feel like if the room closed, the doors closing in on you, the walls closing in on you. That is as a result of a central nervous system imbalance. Menopause is not a nice, it is not a nice thing. And perimenopause, postmenopause, whatever you want to call it, menopause after, ladies, you have to take care of your hormones. After you have passed menopause and successfully completed it, regardless of how much years you went through menopause, if you do not take care of your hormones, because you are alive and your body requires certain hormones in order for you to function properly, even though you are not seeing a menstrual cycle. And that is something a lot of people do not understand, including a lot of well-trained gynecologists. I had a client who came to me, I'll tell all of this before we finish up, because we finish at 9:15. And the client came to me and she told me, I think I've shared this with you guys before, she had serious problems with her blood sugar. The blood sugar would go high, and then all of a sudden the day go very low, and she feel weak and lethargic and tired, weakness. She can't watch the water more than flour. And this was happening for some months until she came to us. And when she came to us, and I did the review, I said, but you have serious hormonal imbalance. So she said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, when did you go through menopause? She said she went through menopause at the age, of 50. And she was 65 at the time. So that's 15 years after that she came to us. You know, the reason why that blood sugar was doing that was because of her hormones. She had serious hormonal challenges. And she didn't understand that because she said, well, Dr. Batson, I went through menopause so long ago. Why would I have hormonal imbalance challenges? And I explained to her that once you are in the land of the living and your hormones, if your hormones just stop work after you went through menopause, no. It's just particular types of hormones and not as much. And therefore, these changes would take place. But you need hormones, and women who are post and perimenopause usually have situations where they have serious upheavals, serious upheavals. And as a result of that situation, you find that you are now in a situations where you have a situation where you are in a serious state of depression and anxiety. Right. So she's asking about perimenopause and postmenopause. So perimenopause is just around the time when the ovaries stop functioning as they should. And as a result of that, your period is going to stop. So that's perimenopause, right? Postmenopause is after menopause. So the thing is, a female can have hormonal challenges, serious and anxiety, depression in any of those stages. Perimenopause, which is when the menopause now started. It could happen pre-menopause too as well. This is just before. Peri, which is start and menopause going through, and post-menopause after. All right, Annabella B. So it means that you feel like you're going mad. Just currently say yes. It have days that the whole place does just be black and close in on me. Sometimes I feel to run out the house. Yeah, you see? I know it is, I'm telling you. And that's why I'm so adamant with helping women with this situation, because I have a mother who I love dearly, dearly, dearly. And I don't want to see that happening to her. I don't want to see that happening to any female that I know. Mental health challenge. I remember we did I did a panel discussion, I think it was last week, for mental health. It was men's health, mental health. And what a lot of people do not understand is that diets or deficiencies in your diet could actually contribute to mental health. So there are things that you could eat that could actually assist in making you mentally unstable. A lot of people don't understand that. Processed meat, sugar. Those of you who love the little sweet tooth, try and use a little more fruit. Lessen your intake of artificial sugar, especially some of those things where they use modified cornstarch and corn syrup and those type of things. You need to be very, very careful, because those things interfere with your mental health and it causes imbalances in the body. So at Batson Associates, we do something known as a live nutritional blood cell analysis. We also do something known as the magnetic resonance analysis scan. And if we do desire or see the need to send you for additional blood tests or additional diagnoses, then we do that. But the blood analysis is basic but fundamental, and is something that we always recommend. So you can always feel free to check it, get information on that, and find out exactly what is going on with you. What is going on with your digestive system? What is going on with your endocrine system? What's going on with your kidneys? You know, I mean, persons walking around with hypertension, and it's only after the fact, years pass after, and then they realize that they were hypertensive and now they have kidney problems. And too late shall be the cry, because you now have to go and end up on a dialysis machine, which anybody who knows anything about dialysis will tell you it is not nice to be on dialysis or to have a family member on dialysis. It is a very strenuous, it really takes a lot out of you. It's just a matter of existing and not necessarily living. Okay, guys. So Ms. Elizabeth Nandlal asked, what are your thoughts on this? Induced menopause. Someone was hospitalized to induce menopause in her 40s. Yeah, but why are you inducing menopause? Usually, induced menopause could only come about if it is women do surgery where they could actually have the surgical removal of the uterus and or the surgical removal of the ovaries. Any of those procedures would induce menopause. And that may have to be done for a female who has serious hormonal challenges. And as a result of having those serious hormonal challenges, she is now in a situation where menopause has caused, not menopause, sorry, it has caused severe bleeding. She's losing a lot of blood. Her blood count is always low. And as a result of that, in order to save her life, they have to surgically remove the uterus and or the ovaries. And in a case like that, menopause can be induced. Some other things that is going to induce menopause: chemotherapy and radiation. Women who normally do chemotherapy and radiation go into immediate menopause where they stop seeing their menstrual cycle, and that is as a result of the side effects of the medication. Okay, Ms. Nandla says, I eat my CMOS with fruit, no milk or added sugar. So good. Okay, so keep in mind again those telephone numbers and locations. The day, the 29th of this month, I will actually be, that's one of my open clinic days in Debe. St. James is usually on a Friday, please God. Shogunas is going to be this Tuesday because we have a holiday on Wednesday, please God. So you could avail yourself of those opportunities if you are waiting to have a consultation. Tobago, keep in mind those telephone numbers for Tobago, and you can actually call and get the information for the office in Tobago as to when our consultants will be there and when yours truly, Dr. Batson, is going to be there. That number for the Tobago office, you can get us on 226. That's 226-4553. Again, that's 226-4553, as well as 312. That's 312-4248. Again, that's 312-4248. That is for the Tobago office. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220. That's 220-8113. Again, that's 220-8113. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. Again, that's 223-7515. And Shogunas, of course, which is head office. Shogunas is the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number for Shogunas is 222-8261. Again, that's 222-8261. You are listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. Those of you waiting on Santulan, I know you have been waiting a while, but believe me, we would not deliberately not give you Santulan, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? We was just working with one or two issues, which we have worked out, and you will have your Santulan shortly. Okay? We have Nerve Restore. We also have eye optics formula. And interestingly, I said eye optics formula, and Miss Jennifer Valentine says, Dr. Batson, I forgot my eye optics formula to add to the list. No problem. We also have that anthocyanin complex, which is actually for eye health. Those of you who may be having problems with your vision, those of you who have problems with glaucoma, those of you who have issues with detached retina, bleeding behind the eyes. We also have our Nerve Restore, that product that helps so great with actually improving the central nervous system. It helps with sleep, anxiety, depression, those type of things. We also have our women's formula, that product that helps with issues associated with hormonal imbalance. Also, inflammation formula, we'll be restocking that product this week. Inflammation formula as well as uterine plus, we'll be restocking this week. So call Batson and Associates if you have a problem with digestion. We also have our digestive restore as well as digestive balance. So a lot of great products to assist you. The Alkagen water as well, and take advantage of those tests and your consultation. That telephone number again and location, Shogunas, is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. That telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That telephone number is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number for Tobago is 226. That's 226-4553. That's 226-4553. Those of you overseas, you can feel free to give us a call or WhatsApp us. That telephone number for overseas clients. Again, you can WhatsApp us on 868-314-9975. That's 868-314-9975, as well as 1-868, that's 1-868-373-2388. Again, 868-373-2388. Okay, keep in mind we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Okay. What I could do for you, my dear, based on the time that you're here, Miss Valentine, you can actually come to Chaguanas and have it done. So what I will do, I'll let the office call you and we could have you get it done in Chaguanas, because we're actually doing something in St. James Day with our electricity, which is why we as soon as we do that, then we're going to be implementing the foot detox there. So you can take advantage of the Chaguanas office. So JD Malcy is asking, people who suffered from mental illness and were on prescribed drugs, is there a way to get them off of those drugs naturally? I mean, in all honesty, yes. However, that is something that that individual could have to want for themselves, and they're going to have to do a lot of work. And the reason for this, I'll tell you, and in my experience, I've seen this. When you are given medication, and people in psychiatric medication, medicine know this, I'm not saying anything out of the way here. A good doctor always tries not to put you on medication. They don't, especially for extended use, because remember, medication has the ability to put certain things. So what it does, you have calcium channel blockers, you have beta blockers, you have serotonin uptake inhibitors. So in all medication has to interfere with a switch in order to give you other outcome, or stop things or block things. The thing is, in doing that for extended period of time, and anybody who's a good doctor and understand anatomy and physiology will know that if you do that for extended periods of time, you are going to eventually damage the body, including the brain in this case. So it means someone who has been on medication for years, it is very difficult to assist that person without the medication, because the body has gotten almost addicted to it. So that is why it's always good to get persons before they reach that stage. But if they have reached that stage, that is something where the family and that individual is going to have to work assiduously to help that individual, assiduously to do so. Okay, so the answer is yes. But like with everything else, it depends on the circumstance, and depends on if the person is actually willing and able to do the work. Okay? I hope I was actually able to answer that question. You have been listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. We were live on our social media platforms, or are in fact live. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates ET. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. So of course, we have a lot of things coming for you guys. Very soon we'll be resuming some of our radio programs, but keep in mind our lives. We have an additional live this Thursday, and that live is going to be taking place from 11 to 11:20, 11:25. We also have DJ Mamu on djmamuradio.tt.com. That is on a Thursday. So all those programs are on a Thursday. And I believe this week we have Synergy. So we'll be on Synergy TV. We'll be doing a live, and we'll be on Synergy TV simultaneously. And that's going to take place this Thursday from 5 to 5:30 p.m. So take advantage of that, guys. We're going to be posting those. And of course, check us out at Batson and Associates, those offices in Chaguanas, first floor Money Talks building in Montreal, Chaguanas. That telephone number for Chaguanas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Davie is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Davie. That telephone number for Davie is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. Keep in mind, my open clinic day in Davie, God's willing, is on the 29th. St. James is every Friday, so this Friday coming here. And that telephone number again is 220, that's 220-8113. Tobago, very important where Tobago is concerned. That telephone number for Tobago, 226-4553. Again, that's 226-4553. You could always reach out to Latoya there at the office, and find out the days for our consultation when our consultants are in office, as well as myself. We are doing that almost on a weekly basis. So take advantage of that. I said, yes, thank you. It will definitely be a lot of work to wean off those drugs, definitely. So again, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless, and do enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. Take care, guys. God bless.